Hey everyone, in this video we're going to discuss some of those waste products that we discussed in the last video that we are going to be able to remove from the body through the urinary system. So the major waste products that we know about are the nitrogenous wastes products, specifically from protein, because if you remember from either chemistry class or from biology or our last class, we talked about protein, and protein has that nitrogen attached to it. When we break down the proteins, we're left with urea, which is something we are going to remove from the body. That's one of the primary things that is removed from the body. And when we do remove urea, it can change to ammonia outside the body, and that's what gives urine that ammonia smell if it sits there. Through muscle activities, creatinine, right? So this is another waste product that's created and is excreted through the kidneys. When it comes to nucleic acids, we create uric acid, which again, this is another component of our urine. And then from our blood, we can have hemoglobin breakdown. And as we discussed in the previous unit, we can either reabsorb some of these components, but if we want to remove them from the body, we will break it down and excrete it as bilirubin. Primarily, urea, like I said in the last slide, is the major component, making up over 30 grams, or the vast majority of what urine is produced throughout a day. So again, if I say 30 grams, it kind of doesn't make any sense, right? So 30 grams, how much is that? So in a day, you're producing about 30 grams of urea. And then the remaining components that we discussed, these really make up only about 2 grams of 32 total grams that your body is going to produce, which is, again, it's not as much. So urea is the primary component of the blood. Depending on the color of your pee, amongst other attributes as well, so it's not just a color, but one thing that we can see because we do urinate and you see it as you pee into a toilet, you can see the different colors. And typically that dictates what's going on with your urine. Sometimes it's just as simple as it's transparent, or maybe it's a little bit yellow in color, right? So that just tells you a little bit about what's going on in your urine. And sometimes if you start to see a little bit more dramatic colors, like we see here on the right, maybe a honey color, right? That just means you're just not getting enough water. Whereas something a little more like orange, you could be having a liver issue, right? So again, it's nice to see and it's nice to know that the color of our urine is a indicator of something that could be going on inside the body. So if you do notice anything like that, that's something you could bring to a doctor's attention. There are also a variety of other tests that we can use in order to determine what's going on with our kidneys and the rest of our body, but it's nice to just know that you can look at it and see some of those big differences. So again, when it comes to waste removal, the urinary system is not alone. We already know that with the respiratory system, we're going to be able to remove that carbon dioxide as well as water, right? So think about it. If you exhale in cold weather and you see your breath, that's water vapors. So respiratory system helps us to remove CO2 and water. Our integumentary system, or our skin primarily, is going to help us to remove nitrogen compounds, as well as water and other electrolytes that we don't need. And then the digestive system that we just covered recently, that helps us with getting rid of those digestive wastes, as well as other bile pigments and heavy metal salts. Urinary, as we talked about in the last video, the primary is going to be regulation of water and electrolytes. And in the next few videos, we'll talk a little bit more about how that's possible. If you have any questions, let me know.